Spouse visa holders are worried about tougher rules, longer settlement, and extra ILR conditions. And the real risk is this: families could be planning their future around today's rules, while the political direction inside Labour Party may decide whether settlement becomes harder, longer, and more conditional. But nothing is final yet. Labour's internal divisions could affect what happens next, especially for people already inside the UK on the spouse visa route. In this video, I'll explain who may be affected, what is still uncertain, and what families could need to understand so that they are not caught preparing for the wrong version of the rules. Hi, I'm James. I'm a PhD researcher. Before we get into the proposals, the key thing to understand is this: even when a rule has not yet become law, the political direction can already affect how families prepare, when they apply, and whether they assume they are safe under the current route. So the question is not just what has changed, but the question is really the direction of travel, and whether the direction of travel could change your settlement timeline before you reach ILR. First of all, where are we right now? Several immigration proposals were earlier introduced by the Home Secretary. These proposals are not fully law yet, but if they eventually become law, spouse visa holders could be affected in three main ways. The first proposal was for tougher English language requirements. The second was about a potentially longer route to settlement. And the third involved additional conditions before somebody could qualify for permanent settlement. Now, this matters because many families plan their future based on the current rules and not the proposed changes. So naturally, people already here are worried about whether the government could suddenly move the goalposts, and people intending to come want more clarity too. But there is an important detail that many people are missing. There has already been political pushback against a lot of these proposals inside the Labour Party itself. Not everybody in government and inside the Labour Party agrees on how strict immigration policy should be. And that is where the current political situation and understanding what's happening becomes important, because what happens next may depend heavily on who controls the direction of the Labour Party and the government over the next few months. Right now, there are basically two possible directions that this could go in. If the party moves further towards the right, under a new leader, then a tougher immigration approach is definitely possible. Current proposals like earned settlement could continue moving forward, and it could potentially mean a longer qualifying period before ILR, stricter settlement requirements, and much tougher English language standards, and possibly even higher financial requirements in the future. This would affect future applicants, and also people who are here but have not yet reached settlement stage. And it would basically continue the wider political trend of making spousal visas and settlement harder to obtain. But there is another possibility if somebody from the soft left or the left-wing part of the Labour Party becomes Prime Minister. Some politicians inside Labour have argued that changing the rules for people already living in the UK on spousal visas would be unfair. And this is where interesting comments from Angela Rayner MP become important. She recently suggested that applying major settlement rule changes to people already in the system could be considered unfair or un-British. Now, if she or one of her allies became leader, it does not guarantee that existing spouse visa holders will be protected, and it does not mean that future applicants would avoid tougher rules. But it may signal that some people already inside the UK could potentially be treated differently from new applicants, and may indicate a slight softening of the currently proposed measures. So the main takeaway is this: don't panic over proposals that are not yet final, but don't ignore the direction of travel either. If you are already on the spouse visa route, your safest move is to understand your current timeline. Keep your evidence organised, and be ready in case the rules split between people already in the system and future applicants. Now, if you're trying to understand what you actually need for a UK spouse visa, watch the next video on UK spouse visa requirements and relationship evidence. Because even if the politics changes, weak and missing evidence can still delay your application preparation. It can create avoidable stress and make your case much harder to prove. In that video, we break down the documents and the proof you may need to prepare.